With the reveal of Yuji Itadori's true identity, he is en route to totally surpass the King of Curses. And honestly, the best part of this chapter for me was seeing Sukuna genuinely start tweaking from getting his ass beat by this brat that he totally despises. Chapter 257 was, and probably always will be, one of the best chapters in all of Jujutsu Kaisen. But please be aware of the fact that it won't stop here. This is simply the start of all of our questions finally being answered and Gege truly starting to cook. However, after reading this chapter, I now know one thing for absolute certain. Sukuna will not win Jujutsu Kaisen. The Sukuna Glazers have lost. Their king will not be the king for very much longer. But more on that later, let's just jump straight into this incredible chapter. The chapter begins with a Sukuna flashback, which pretty much means that it's over for him already. It's a conversation about Yuji between Megane and Arame as they wait for Gojo on that building, which will very soon be reduced to nothing but dust. Arame questions who Yuji is because apparently he reminds them of Sukuna, and then Sukuna then gives Arame the talk and explains that Kenjaku taking it from behind was clearly for a reason. He continues to say that Kenjaku got busy with what was likely a fragment of himself reincarnated. Sukuna then also says, "We share the same soul," and it's incredibly unclear if he actually means the same as Yuji or Yuji's dad, Jin Itadori. Actually, it's just generally very unclear if Yuji has Sukuna's twin soul or is the nephew of Sukuna's twin, because the actual method Kenjaku used to reincarnate the soul are completely unknown to even Sukuna. I personally think the soul has been passed on through the Itadori line, meaning Jin passed it to Yuji and then Kenjaku improved its potential by adding his own genetics and Kaori's genetics into the mix. But we don't know that for sure. Honestly, this chapter just doesn't clear it up very well, and I think there is definitely more information to be revealed which will confirm this. The soul being passed on would also explain why Yuji's grandfather also looks just like Sukuna. But maybe this is pure copium, I don't know. The fact is, I think Yuji being the twin is far superior to Yuji being the Jujutsu nephew of Sukuna. It just makes so much more sense and has way more impact on the story. As I said though, it's not fully explained in this chapter and we still have more to come, so I think jumping to conclusions just based off what Sukuna says here is a little bit silly. Anyway, Sukuna reveals that he must have ate his twin in the womb because otherwise he might have starved, which would explain why he has a complete cannibal addiction. I mean, who knows, maybe Sukuna would have turned out all fine and dandy like Yuji if he never developed a taste for people. Now, according to Sukuna, the twin soul bounced aimlessly around until it eventually fell into Kenjaku's hands. Yeah, this statement is proof that this twin thing is not fully explained yet. Kenjaku's exact methods and reasons for doing this are still completely unknown and need to be explained, because simply saying, oh, it just bounced around aimlessly and then happened to find Kenjaku is a little bit shit. Oh, and I'm not having any of this shit about, oh, Kenjaku was clearly madly in love with Sukuna, so reincarnated part of his soul had sex with it for fun, and it was all completely unrelated to his evil plan. No. Now, Sukuna says that Yuji was bred to seal Sukuna's fingers, and that was necessary for Yuji to be able to hold Sukuna as a vessel. And this kind of suggests, or at least it gives me the idea, that Yuji is the final finger of Sukuna. We don't know this for sure, but it definitely wouldn't make Yuta's statement any less valid if he was, because it would simply mean that he copied Shrine from Yuji. But honestly, who knows at this point? I just have faith that it will be explained more later down the line. To be honest, the craziest thing about this flashback isn't even the Yuji reveal. It's the fact that Arame, aka the #1 Sukuna Glazer, actually worries that Yuji's innate potential rivals Sukuna's. Like, Arame saying this was already a massive giveaway that Yuji was about to pop off this chapter, and pop off he did. We cut back to the 1v1 against Sukuna and Yuji, and the first thing I noticed was that Yuji's nails look like they do when Sukuna took over his body, which is just kinda cool. Yuji then starts throwing straight hands with Sukuna, and since Sukuna's slashing output is so low, Sukuna has absolutely no choice but to resort to pure hands too. And I'm sorry, but when it comes to straight hands, current Yuji wipes most of the verse. And Sukuna is absolutely no exception, especially when every single strike from Yuji is a soul-crushing black flash. Yuji lands 2 black flashes right off the bat, and since he ended last chapter with another black flash, it means he has reached 3 in a row. Before landing a 4th though, Sukuna sends Yuji flying into a pillar, but Yuji simply grabs the pillar and enrages Sukuna even further as he reveals that he can now use Cleave. Yes, ladies and gents, Gojo's promise has finally come into play. Yuji Itadori has gained Sukuna's own curse technique, which was awakened by his sudden flurry of black flashes. It's also confirmed that Yuji's blood manipulation comes from eating the Curse Room death paintings 4 through 9, which is just pretty cool to know. Sukuna's curse technique is actually confirmed as being called Shrine here, instead of simply dismantling Cleave. Now, to some people, this was genuinely a big reveal, but to anyone reading with their eyes open, you will know that this information was revealed quite some time ago. Actually, wait, I take that back. Anyone who reads TCB and not John Weary's linguistic abominations should already know this. I apologize. Yorozu, a top-of-the-line Heian era sorcerer, referred to Sukuna's curse technique as Shrine, and Yorozu would have information about this. Satoru Gojo, a man with the 6 eyes and the ability to read techniques, also referred to it as Shrine. Now, it is definitely no coincidence that only these 2 characters were the ones to refer to Sukuna's technique technique as shrine. Fact is, they just know more about Sukuna's curse technique than we or any other character does. Actually, Gojo's subtle comments do tell us much more than you realize, to the point where I finally found out an actual good explanation for what the shrine curse technique is. In fact, it's so good that it's going to need its own video, or else this would quickly deviate from being a chapter review and descend into an hour-long rambling madness. The point is, the shrine curse technique is confirmed, and Yuji definitely has it. Oh, and I guess it also confirms that Dismantle and Cleave are actually part of the shrine technique, since Sukuna sees Cleave and concludes that Yuji has shrine. Anyway, after chucking the cleaved up pillar at Sukuna, Yuji grabs and cleaves Sukuna's leg, tanks some bitch-ass dismantles, and then lands his 4th consecutive Black Flash on the King of Curses. Sukuna then explains that it's the same curse technique, but it does differ slightly due to the error and the difference in Yuji's mentality. Although we have absolutely no clue how it differs just yet, and we've basically just been told that it does. This also reminds me that Gege actually draws little guidelines for Yuji's cleaves, which is pretty cool since we haven't seen that for Sukuna. But Yuji's cleaves are currently low output due to the lack of experience with the technique, meaning that Sukuna isn't too worried about them right now, although he is still worried about the flurry of Black Flashes coming his way. We then get a long-awaited flashback to Ino asking Gojo, Shoko, and Ijichi permission to use Nanami's 7-3 tool. Gojo basically gives his snarky-ass reply of, "Are you dumb, bruv? Nanami obviously trusted you the most, go out and beat Sukuna to shit with it." We cut back to the fight, and finally, after teasing it for so long, Ino summons Ryu, his 4th beast, the beast that no one has ever survived. And it gets instantly shredded. Cool, so much for that. Honestly, I don't know what the fuck I was expecting. But hey, at least it distracted Sukuna long enough for Yuji to land his 5th consecutive Black Flash, breaking the Black Flash record for good. After Yuji lands his 5th Black Flash in a row, Sukuna genuinely starts tweaking out. Like, he is so angry and confused at how this brat he has always looked down on can do something that is meant to be impossible. He then starts stressing that Yuji is actually aiming to become Sukuna's rival. Sukuna musters all his strength and throws a hefty punch, but Yuji literally says, "Nuh-uh, Una reverse card, bitch," and slams him straight back into a wall. Now, technically, Yuji's consecutive Black Flash strikes end here, but he still broke the record with 5 in a row. Sukuna gets even more enraged by the fact that Yuji can now completely ignore his punches and slashes due to how Yuji's Black Flashes completely crippled his output. Yuji lands a 6th Black Flash and then fully tanks a direct cleave to the face. And I love this panel because now Yuji looks just like Sukuna. And yeah, I am still convinced that Yuji is the twin. Anyway, Yuji lands Black Flash number 7, causing Sukuna to officially lose his shit. Against anyone else ever, Sukuna keeps his cool and gives absolutely no shit, even if he might lose. But against Yuji, he exposes his only weakness and totally loses his composure. And that is why Yuji will beat him. Halfway through Sukuna's dramatic anime villain scream though, Ino drops Nanami's 7-3 tool right onto his Crondolium. And this legit looks like it made him see stars. Like, you know he is dizzy as fuck from that. Just look at his face. That is a what the fuck expression if I have ever seen one. To finalize this masterful chapter, Yuji winds up and slams Sukuna with his 8th Black Flash, and the ending comment reads, "Don't just rival the king, surpass him." This is genuinely one of the craziest chapters we have ever got, and that's only the start. We have so much more information and so many more stages to this boss battle left over. To be completely honest, it really feels like shit's only just getting started. As much as I have so much more I want to talk about, I'ma force myself not to waffle on for too long and simply make separate theory videos instead, else you'll be here forever listening to my constant rambling. And yes, one of those videos will be about the shrine technique, but one of them will also be about some Utacopium. Although that Utacopium video is gonna be so sick, and you guys are gonna grill me so hard because I am so drugged up on copium. For now though, don't forget to like and subscribe. Also feel free to join the Discord and follow me over on Twitter, link below. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you soon for some more crazy theory videos, and I mean really crazy.